initial knowledge of petrified wood? I understand you and Joan were driving somewhere and you saw the construction company moving a log out to build a road.
Well, actually, we were on a holiday and driving through Arizona. It was Sunday afternoon, and there was a bunch of people over in the field, and we wondered what was going on, and we stopped, and they were digging up a log.
Yeah.
And I just became amazed and impressed with it. But anyway, the rancher saw that I was interested, and I talked to him quite a bit, and he said, well, you could go out and we'll rent you a backhoe and a driver, and you can see what you can uncover. So the next day, we were still on a holiday, Joan and I went out and we ran into a whole pocket of logs. So what to do with them? Inquired around, and the rancher suggested, well, why don't you get in touch with some monument works and see what they can do? So I got on the telephone, and we got a hold of one company that said, yeah, ship them to us and we'll see what we can do with them. So we shipped them to them, and they sliced them up like French bread into tabletops. And the market you have is for people who are pretty well off. And we had the market in New York City, and especially with the help of the interior designers, because they're always looking for something special for their clients. And we don't have access to cutting and polishing of it and processing it, but we also had a market. Now, there are not many entities that have that privilege.
Right. And I remember, eventually you're scratching your head on how you're going to market the stuff, and then you discovered the Tucson show.
Yes.
The Tucson Gem and Mineral Show.
Yes. Initially, when we go around and looking at people who had petrified wood and who worked with it, they'd only work with small slabs. That's all the equipment they had.
Right.
And they never had much utility, I didn't think. So we were, I guess, one of the first that started with big pieces. And we always looked for the bigger the better.
And of course, nobody in the world ever had done this before. And all these people that came into the show were amazed at these petrified wood things, and you were instantly very popular, and
yes.
it sold very easily.
Yes, that's right. Second year we were there, we said we're going to open up Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and there'd be a line out front of our motel or where we're displaying. Yeah. There'd be a line out there, and we'd open the doors, and they'd all rush in. They'd put their card. This one's mine. This one's mine.
Right.
We didn't have any competition, right. And it was something unusual to do.
Right. But you had one room of material that you kept.
Well, we had this collection. When we processed the wood, I would always save back a piece of the better piece and hide it. And because people, when they come by to buy, they always buy the best pieces. Right. And you end up with some that are not so good and hard.
I call them the cats and dogs.
Yeah, hard to sell. And so we had this collection and what to do with it. And we inquired from a number of museums and so forth around the country who would want it and take it. And most museums would say, well, we'd love to have it, but we can't guarantee to display it. They'd put it in the basement or something for study. And we finally ran into the Houston Museum, and they agreed to display a third of it at a time, right. and to rotate it. So they came to New York, and they picked out some of our best pieces, and they have them now in Houston.
And then at some point, you and Joan moved out to get away from the winter, I guess, of New York, and retired in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Can you just tell me about how you first started, considering the museum there and what you were and why and?
The main thing that I was interested in is getting the wood out for a display where people could see it. And that was they were looking for someone to put a name on the library. It was always called the New Library. And they were waiting for some donor or someone to come along and they would put their name there. So they said, well, you could put petrified wood on this wall, you could put it on that wall, and so forth. And that's what interested me. So, they kept talking with us, and there was a building down there that they said we're going to renovate. We could renovate and make it a museum. And it was just a small section of a building. So we agreed to help finance that and start it up. And of course, there was a lot of interest in it, in the petrified wood. Eventually, we added on to the museum, and we're still thinking about enlarging it because it has really created a lot of interest. Everybody marvels at it when they go visit him. I really enjoyed working with the wood and with the business because it was a matter of discovery all the time, and you'd run across some beautiful pieces, and then when you sold them, they were really appreciated, and people just marveled at them, and that was I just enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed every aspect of it, looking for logs, getting better logs, getting them processed, and so I was very reluctant to sell, or he eventually worked with you, and we couldn't have found a better person to work with, because you were not only creative, you were did the work that was required.
And I got to follow in your footsteps, and it's been a major thing in my life, and I have to thank you over and over for being there, for doing it, and then being so awfully kind and generous to me over all of the years. And here we are 32 years later,
Yes.
And we're good friends, and we're in good health, and
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's a wonderful